Overtraining syndrome is often portrayed as a condition reserved for elite athletes, the Olympic hopefuls logging double sessions and punishing mileage. But new evidence suggests that recreational runners, too, may be at risk, especially those juggling ambitious training plans with work, stress, and insufficient recovery. The reality is sobering. Overtraining syndrome is not just about doing too much, but doing more than your body can adapt to without enough time, fuel, or rest to bounce back. And it's more common and more misunderstood than most runners think. At the heart of overtraining syndrome is a breakdown in the body's recovery systems. This isn't the normal fatigue that lingers after a hard workout or a long run. It's a deeper, more systemic wear and tear on the nervous system, hormonal function, and immune resilience. Runners may initially feel stronger, faster workouts, improved endurance, but over time, the body begins to unravel. What once felt easy becomes a grind. Sleep suffers, motivation drops, heart rate rises, and injuries appear without warning. These aren't just warning signs. They're the early stages of a crash that can last months. For recreational runners, the risks are uniquely dangerous because the signs are easy to dismiss. It's easy to blame stress, weather, or life's chaos. Many runners assume that overtraining is about extreme volume. But research shows it's not just how much you train, it's how consistently you fail to recover. A runner doing 25 miles per week with no rest days, poor sleep, a calorie deficit, and high stress may be more at risk than a marathoner running twice the volume with adequate rest. In this sense, overtraining syndrome is less about miles and more about recovery debt. Another common myth is that more cross-training equals protection. But even low-impact activities like cycling, swimming, or strength training can pile onto the central nervous system if done without recovery in mind. Overtraining is cumulative. Mental stress, sleep loss, nutritional gaps, and emotional burnout all count. The body doesn't separate physical and psychological fatigue. If you're carrying too much of either, the stress response is the same. Cortisol rises, repair slows, and your system shifts into survival mode. You may keep training, but you won't keep improving. Worse still, pushing through this state often leads to long-term injury or illness. Runners with true overtraining syndrome often develop persistent inflammation, immune suppression, chronic joint pain, or hormonal disruption. For some, the recovery can take months or even years. It's not just a matter of resting for a weekend and getting back to work. The system needs to fully reset. And by the time most recreational runners acknowledge the problem, the damage is already deep. There's also a psychological cost. Many runners in this state feel guilty resting, anxious when not improving, or fearful that easing off means failure. This mindset drives them deeper into the cycle, training through fatigue, ignoring pain, justifying sluggishness as laziness instead of exhaustion. But long-term consistency depends on sustainable effort. And that means knowing when to step back before the body makes the decision for you. The hopeful truth is that overtraining syndrome is preventable. The key lies in tuning into subtle early signs: sleep quality, mood, resting heart rate, motivation, soreness that lingers beyond 48 hours, a plateau or drop in performance despite hard work. These aren't excuses, they're data. A smart runner listens. The best ones adjust. Training smarter doesn't mean training less. It means respecting the balance between effort and recovery. It means planning rest days like workouts, treating sleep and nutrition as seriously as pace and distance. And it means recognizing that sometimes the bravest thing a runner can do is slow down, not forever but long enough to rebuild. Recreational runners are not immune to burnout. In fact, their lives, filled with work deadlines, family demands, and limited recovery time, may put them at even higher risk. Overtraining doesn't require elite ambition. It only requires persistent imbalance. And once that line is crossed, the road back is long. But by understanding the truth, by rejecting the myths and respecting the warning signs, runners can avoid the trap. They can run strong, stay resilient, and train year after year without falling apart. Not by pushing harder, but by recovering smarter. That's not weakness. That's wisdom.